Live from Hazard, Kentucky, this is Jammin John's Wrestling News. Here's your news for Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. During his recent podcast, Chris Jericho recalled a conversation he had with Vince McMahon about All In. Chris Jericho said, "I told Vince about All In about 4 or 5 months ago. We were just discussing and shooting the breeze, and I said, yeah, the show's in September in Chicago. And Vince said, I wish they would have called me. September is the worst time of the year to promote. Thanks to SESscoops.com for the quote." And speaking of Chris Jericho, during an appearance on Talk is Jericho, Cody Rhodes explained why he probably won't return to WWE. Cody said, "Somebody asked me, would you go back? And the answer has pretty much definitely become, I don't think so. And not because I don't like WWE or WrestleMania or money, because I am literally now incapable of taking direction. If you told me you're going to write or produce something for me, no." Cody also commented on his reaction to All In selling out by saying, "You guys don't know this. I went at the autograph signing that night. There was a line of people and one person came up, 'Hey, I'm All In.' And they got their ticket and I was like, oh, that's great. Another person came up, 'I'm All In. We didn't get what we wanted, but we got our tickets.' I was like, damn. I left the signing and I went and I broke down in tears in the room behind. I couldn't handle it. And I denied it. Thanks to TNA Mark from India for the quotes." During his recent podcast, Steve Austin gave his thoughts on Kevin Owens being squashed by Braun Strowman at SummerSlam. Austin said, "I hope Kevin Owens can claw his way back to where he was. Hopefully they're booking him to get back to where he was. I'm a big fan of both guys. I'm friends with both guys. But man, with Braun's a big guy. And Kevin has been in the picture for a lot of titles. He's held a lot of titles. And I just thought, man, he didn't get crap in, so, I just wasn't a fan. Yeah, I just didn't think Owens needed to get steamrolled because he's a top guy, and obviously Braun Strowman is still green, but he's a top guy. They're grooming him for bigger and better things, but KO didn't need to get squashed in the process." Thanks to WrestlingInc.com for the quote. The WWE published a poll asking fans if they have been supporting Becky Lynch during her quest to win the SmackDown Live Women's title and got an amazing response. 91% who voted said yes, I was rooting for her the whole way, and only 9% who voted said yes, but only until Charlotte Flair got involved. In another interesting note, the YouTube version of Becky Lynch's promo from this past Tuesday on SmackDown, which now has over 1.3 million views, doesn't include the part where Becky lashed out at the fans. The cheers for Becky were also not edited out, despite some fans thinking WWE would do that. In an interview with Gorilla Position, Kevin Owens commented on the indie wrestling scene doing well and the Ring of Honor / New Japan Pro Wrestling show selling out Madison Square Garden. Kevin Owens said, "I absolutely don't think it's a threat. I think it's great for everybody involved and WWE thrives on competition. It did for a long time. I think healthy competition is great and I think WWE would agree. But WWE will always try to go out and be better than everybody else, and I think that's why they got to the point where they're at, you know? They want to be bigger and they want to do things that other companies can't, and they're never going to change that way. The fact that all these companies are thriving is great for everybody involved. Whether it's wrestlers who are up and coming and trying to make a career or even wrestler that might eventually leave WWE, it gives them a place to go." Kevin Owens continued on by saying, "Look, the wrestling world is changing and it's very exciting to see, but I think it would be silly to look at these companies thriving and not feel like WWE is a big part of them thriving as well. You know what I mean? Even Ring of Honor selling out Madison Square Garden is fantastic. It's unbelievable, but they're selling it out on WrestleMania weekend. You know what I mean? So I feel people should still be grateful to WWE, and I know some people think that's not the cool thing to admit, that WWE might not be this giant thing trying to hurt the indies." Kevin Owens continued on by saying, "I know a lot of people feel that they are, but I couldn't disagree more, and I hope one day Ring of Honor can sell out Madison Square Garden when WWE's not in town, and everything points to that happening eventually, and that's amazing." Thanks to WrestlingInc.com for the quotes. Mike Johnson of PWIInsiderElite.com commented on the AJ Styles vs. Samoa Joe match from SummerSlam by saying, "There was consideration for Joe winning the belt, but obviously that's not the final finish they went with. Johnson also commented on the Bludgeon Brothers vs. New Day match from SummerSlam and the No DQ match on SmackDown Live. Mike Johnson said, "I know Eric Rowan got hurt at the pay-per-view, and I don't know if that's why they did the crappy finish. They were not supposed to switch the tag belts this week. I was told there was a larger role planned for the Bludgeon Brothers coming out of the pay-per-view. I don't know what it was, but the injury is why they did the tag title switch." Thanks to RingsideNews.com for the quotes. And finally, here on Jammin John's Wrestling News, it is now time to announce the results of our previous special subscriber poll. That poll was, would you like to see Luke Harper as world champion? And with 2 votes, it's a yes. Of course, if you haven't already, you can subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/JamminJohn. I have free packages on there ranging from free to $7. Not a whole lot of money. I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/JamminJohn. And that is your news for Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. Check back here tomorrow for another Jammin John's Wrestling News Flash Briefing on Amazon Alexa devices. Big shout out to everybody listening to this on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Stewie Family is the name. Follow me on Twitter at John Caldwell, JONCOLWELL. Follow me on Instagram, the Jammin John. If you'd like to sponsor Jammin John's Wrestling News or your wrestling promotion wanting to get your next big event out for the awesome power of Amazon Alexa, you can email me, jzcaldwell@gmail.com. That's JZCOLWELL@gmail.com. Big shout out to Ryan Hurdle for subscribing to my Patreon. You too can subscribe to me by going to patreon.com/JamminJohn. Again, I have free packages on there ranging from free to $7. Not a whole lot of money. I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/JamminJohn. This is Jammin John saying thanks, goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow.